When I was a young man, I had trouble saying no to things. If somebody asked me to do something, I felt like it was my responsibility or I had no say. I had to say yes. I just felt I had to say yes. And so I found myself doing things that I didn't always really enjoy, but I did them anyway because I was asked. And I think that was a choice I made in part because I wanted people to like me. I wanted everybody to like me. And if I said no to them, then maybe they wouldn't like me. Well, that was a habit I carried with me through a lot of my adult life. But interestingly, it was not one I employed in my daily practice of writing because, of course, in order to write something, you have to be willing to sit there at the desk and sit with your story and ask yourself the question, whoa, what should happen next? What does she do for a living? How do I get my hero out of that jail I put him in? What should happen next? And you ask that question and you start getting answers. You get ideas. And a lot of the times when we get ideas, we say no. We say, nah, that's not it. No, that's not how I did it. No, that it's such a part of writing. And in fact, even before you start a story, you may not recognize it. I certainly don't. Ideas come floating along through your mind for possible stories you could tell. You could begin, and you know a story. Well, that's quite an investment. Roald Dahl talked about how when he got a story idea, he wanted to sniff around it for a few months because he knew that once he started writing, that would be a year of his life. And that's a commitment. And so you want to make it sure it's something that you're actually interested in. And so ideas come. And a lot of times we say, no, 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 that's not what I want. No, that's not a story I want to tell. No, that's not the direction this story should go. We do it all the time. And in fact, a lot of times when we're sitting there, sort of staring into the distance, sipping our coffee, tapping our chin, most of what we're doing is saying no in one form or another because ideas are coming and they're not what we want. We are, you could say, rejecting. Yeah, we're rejecting an idea. Something comes to us uh, through our imagination, but it comes to us and we say, no, I am not interested. Story ideas come to us and we say no, we reject them. It's interesting because as a writer, most creative people in general, but writers, one of the things we fear, not everybody, but a lot of us, is rejection. In other words, we write our stories and, we hope when we send them out, whether it's to traditional publishers or we put them up, out for sale ourselves and people don't seem to be buying it, that idea of being rejected, the thing that we thought was cool and interesting, others wouldn't think is cool and interesting. I know it was certainly a major metaphor for me, the whole concept of acceptance and rejection and acceptance and rejection. But if we pay attention, we recognize that we are rejecting all the time. It is the only way for us to know what we want to create. We can't know what we want to make, the story we want to tell, the life, in a sense, that we want to live, unless we are willing to say no to those things that do not suit us, that don't resonate with us, that don't interest. You have to say no in order to know what to say yes to. It's integral. And I think as a writer, it's so important to recognize the amount of rejection that's a part of the creative process for you, that you yourself engaged in. Because at some point, yes, people are going to say no to your work. And it may hurt. It hurt me, or I felt hurt by it, let me say. Or I didn't know what to do with those no's except to feel hurt by them, or feel confused by them, or to feel lesser than, or defeated by them, or dejected by them. But the truth is, we're rejecting all the time. And if we're honest, everyone else is doing the same thing we're doing. Everyone is looking for the stories that interest them, the work they want, the books they want to publish or agent. They're looking for the things that they can say yes to. And the only way they can do that is to say no to things. Look, it's not going to make it easy as a writer. It's more fun when someone says yes to your stuff. Just like it's more fun when an idea comes and you finally get to say, oh, yes, that's the story. It's so much more fun to say yes to a story idea than to say no to it. But you still got to say no to a bunch of story ideas. So if you can hold that memory in your heart for all the people who may have to say no to your story as a part of their creative process, it will get a little easier. It's not going to be as easy ever, I don't think, as how it feels when you just say no to a story idea that comes to you. I get it. It's a little trickier when it comes from someone else. But if you can acknowledge the everyday rejection that is the writer's life from you, all the times you had to say no to learn who you are, it will get easier. It can get easier when you hear it from others. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. No one's against you. No one's against you. We're all working together, and sometimes we collaborate and sometimes we don't. Yeah. So thanks for watching. As always, hit subscribe if you don't want to miss a dose. And if you like it, say so. Click it. Click the like. Make a comment. It helps other people find it and let your voice be heard. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.